It's fight week. It's fight week. It is Tuesday, the 7th of July. That means we have 4 more sleeps until it's Saturday. And what is Saturday? That's fight day. Fight day is just around the corner. Like if you go straight, right? If you go straight and then you turn over here, and then just over here, you'll see is UFC 251. It's just around the corner. And I'm just sat here looking at the fight card, and I can't in my head imagine a scenario come 7 o'clock on Sunday morning when I've just finished watching the main event, Kamaru Usman against Jorge Masvidal. I'm going to look at myself in the mirror and say to myself, what a waste of time that was. Like this card, it's just been put together so well. I can't think of a way that they will find a way to disappoint us, the fans, because it's just got too much sauce. There's just way too much sauce on this card. Now, I haven't even decided yet because I'm underprepared, like I usually am. So if you're familiar with this channel, you'll know I don't really plan before I start talking. I'm not sure whether I'm gonna talk about all of the fights in this video or do it. I'll tell you what, I'll do it individually. I'm going to talk about each of the fights in individual videos. So let's start. Amanda Ribas against Paige VanZant. Look, I've said this previously, right? The only female division that I pay any attention to is the women's strawweight division. And that's not me being sexist. The reason I do that is because the strawweight division is actually one of my favourite divisions in MMA, full stop, because it's one of the most competitive divisions. The other female divisions, the champion in those divisions are just way too dominant. And it kind of makes me tune out of fights in those divisions that don't involve the champion, because I just think to myself, well, what's the point? Because if she wins, she might get a title shot, but she's not going to beat Shevchenko, or she's not going to beat the Lioness. Do you know what I mean? Like, so the reason I'm saying this is obviously the first fight, Ribas against Paige VanZant, is a flyweight fight. It's 125 pounds, and I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know much about Amanda Ribas. I don't. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend and lie to you guys, and I'm not going to break down this fight. What I will say is, when it comes to this particular fight, I've watched Jimmy Smith talk about it. I've seen Luke Thomas talk about it briefly. I don't know if I've seen Dan Hardy talk about it, but the overall consensus is that Amanda Ribas is the favourite. The betting gods suggest the same as well. So make of that what you will. The reason why I wanted to talk about this fight is actually something away from the fight itself, but it involves one of the fighters, Paige VanZant. Now look, Paige VanZant is, I'd say she's one of the biggest female stars in the organisation, but her stardom doesn't come from her skills in the octagon. They come from her marketability outside of the octagon. They come from the fact that she's a good-looking woman. They come from the fact that she was part of Dancing with Stars a few years ago. They come from the fact that she's actually really good with social media. She's very consistent with posting and stuff like that. So she's got a lot of sponsors and blah, blah, blah. And the reason I'm talking about all of this stuff is this is her last fight on her UFC contract, and she chose not to renew her contract because she wanted to test the free market. She wanted to be a free agent, and she wanted to see what other MMA organizations are willing to pay her. She's spoken openly about this, about the fact that she feels that she's underpaid, and because she's underpaid, she feels underappreciated. She's headlined a couple of shows for the UFC in the past. So I definitely would say that the UFC recognize the fact that she does have pulling power when it comes to general audiences out there. The reason I'm saying all of this stuff is I've seen people question Paige VanZant's desire to continue fighting, and that's one thing that I don't think is a valid argument when it comes to Paige VanZant, because I just think because Paige VanZant's a good-looking woman, I feel like she doesn't get the credit she deserves. She doesn't get the credit she deserves because every time I've seen her fight, I haven't seen any quit in her. I haven't seen her put in a performance where she's just waiting to lose. Like, in every second of every fight that I've ever seen her in, she's fucking fighting. her will to win, or at least not give up if she's, losing a fight. It's I've never seen an instance in a fight where I've said to myself, oh, Paige VanZant, she just meant to do that. She just meant to kind of give up her back, or she's wilting. I can see her I can see her weakening mentally. I can see her opponent getting the better of her mentally. Do you know what I mean? And I think actually, a lot of people, when it comes to MMA, they like to have a go at Paige VanZant because she gets a lot of opportunities outside of the octagon because of her looks and, like modelling gigs and stuff like that. And people have a go at Paige VanZant for taking advantage of those opportunities. At the same time, I think she's a victim of the fact that because she's an attractive woman, she doesn't get the recognition she deserves in the way she performs in the octagon. Do you know what I mean? Like, look, I'm not sat here trying to tell you guys she's like the best thing since sliced bread and the UFC should keep hold of her because, she's championship caliber. She's clearly not. What I am saying is, I think people should get credit where it's due. And I think she deserves the credit for her grit, her determination. I think she deserves the credit for loving the sport. I feel like if you look at her social media and stuff like that, she's always training. She's fucking like the Energizer bunny. She's always just doing something. Do you know what I mean? She's always either she's dancing or she's training. And she's always in good shape. You can tell she's not one of these fighters that get a bit soft around the belly when they're not in a camp and then they get into shape. She's always in shape because she's always training. She's always trying to improve. And I think there's something to be said for that. And I don't think she gets the credit for that just because she's good looking. And that's not really fair. Like, you can't have a go at her for being good looking and securing opportunities outside of MMA and say, oh, that makes women in MMA look bad. But then when she's actually showing the desire, the determination, the will to win in the fucking octagon, you can't take that away from her because she's good looking. Like, she can't win either way. Do you know what I mean? Now, with this contract situation, it's a bit of a sticky one, to be fair, because, she was saying in an interview that I saw a little while ago where she gets paid, 40-something grand to show and then 40-something grand to win. And she was talking about how she can do posts on Instagram and get paid more. And she actually did say Instagram pays her more than her MMA career. And people would argue and say, well, why don't you just do Instagram then? What if she wants to fight? Because there's nothing in her performances that have showed me that she doesn't have the desire to continue fighting. She's never out of shape. She trains hard. Because I think from the evidence I've seen, she enjoys fighting. So going back to this it's not really a dispute, this negotiation with the UFC. I can see where the UFC are coming from because I'd assume that the women in the top 10 of the strawweight division don't really command a massive kind of purse per fight. Apart from Shevchenko, I don't really know many strawweights in the UFC, if I'm honest. Joanne, I think, is one, the Scottish girl. But I don't know if they get paid a lot. And I think Paige VanZant is expecting to be paid according to her reach outside of the octagon. And I suppose the balancing act is with the UFC is actually, does her star power bring in the numbers when it comes to actual events? And that's the balance that they have to find. And Paige VanZant is in a good position right now because, clearly her husband fights for Bellator, so that would be a good fit for her. But I suppose I just wanted to talk a little bit about Paige VanZant and just give my opinions about her. And I don't think she's being treated 100% fairly when it comes to other women in MMA and just MMA fans in general. Look, this looks like it's going to be her last fight, even if she does pull off the upset win. It looks like it's going to be her last fight in the UFC. So I hope, when she does move to Bellator, it's a successful career for her. And I hope she does continue to fight. And I hope I'm right in my assessment of Paige VanZant, and I hope she is a genuine martial artist and she enjoys improving and she enjoys showing off her skills during fights 3 or 4 times a year. But I suppose, look, I haven't really broken down the fight. I just gave my opinions about Paige VanZant. But what I will say is I'll just defer to the experts on this one, because like I said, I don't know much about Amanda Ribas, and I'm sorry, but now she's fighting on a main card on a numbered event. I'm definitely going to watch her fight, and I'll know a lot more about her come Sunday morning. So on this occasion, the prediction is Amanda Ribas. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. Put your comments below. Don't be scared to hit the like button. Share this with a friend if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll catch you guys in the Jessica Andrade Rose Namajunas video.